Hello everyone, my name is Brian. Welcome to the first edition of Let's Try It. Really what this is it was inspired by doing this because I wanted to understand all the many different types of videos that are out there that you see that people are cooking and trying new recipes, and do they really work? That's my first big thing that I want to understand, because it's easy to see it in a video, but when you try it, does it really work? So that's why it inspired me to create this first video called Let's Try It. What you see in front of me is some ingredients I have here. I have two ribeye steaks. Both I used on the steak. I used Dano's Primo. Really, if you have never tried it, it's very good. You ought to try it. Also, some Lawry seasoning here. It's really good. It helps add a little bit of that saltiness that you look for in a steak. And later on, I'll be using a little beef tallow, which you'll see. You can get that in your local grocery stores. And I'm going to be cooking in a high temp oil. I'm choosing avocado oil, really, because that's what I've got. It's good to 500 degrees or more. And then you have, there's many others out there on the market that you can go look. You're really looking for one that's a non-smoke. I can't say that this is really a non-smoke, if you will, but we'll try it anyway. And then butter as well, that I'll have here will be used later in the video for some other stuff that I'm going to mix together that's going to go over the top of the steak. But anyway, so with that being said, we're going to continue with this video and start the cooking process, and we'll go from there. So welcome again to Let's Try It. Okay, everybody, I'm back again. We're going to begin this cooking process. As I told you earlier, I think I've got the oil pretty much heated up to about medium high. So I'm going to start laying these in. Now, with a stainless steel skillet, you'll notice that once for it to sear properly, it's got to go for a couple of minutes, and you'll see in a second here as I show you, it's not ready for it to flip because it's going to be almost like you can't move it. So you'll see how this kind of works. You see how it's kind of stiff already. So you have to let that go for a couple of minutes here. Again, I'm hoping that this high temp oil does what we want it to do. It does look like it's cooking in a little bit more oil than it shows on the video that I watched, but they had a little bit of a larger skillet, so we'll find out as we go along here. But it needs to really get hot and sear. Hopefully we'll start with no smoke so far. I don't see really any smoke other than you may see a little bit of steam coming off the meat. That's really because of the just the coldness of the meat hitting the hot grease. But as you can see again, it's kind of like stuck a little bit. It's not really ready to flip yet. So we'll continue to watch this and see how this goes. I'm hoping that the outcome will be when I flip it, that the other side is kind of a crusty golden brown, and it'll look like something you would see in a high-end restaurant that's being seared. Is my goal here, but we'll see how this comes out based on what I've seen here. We'll let it go for just a little bit more. You can see how it's really starting to brown under there. So hopefully it'll be exactly where we want it to be once this thing continues to. So this one's starting to really get good there, as you can see. That one's starting to lift a little bit. One thing with one thing that you'll see with a stainless steel skillet is that, you know, when you cook on high heat, if there's a certain give, there's a point where it won't give the meat. You'll go to pull it out and you'll kind of feel like it's like peeling off the pan versus where you could just lift it up and flip it. So let's give it a couple more, few seconds more here, and then we will flip it and see what it looks like, and then we will go from there. Okay, so I'm getting ready to flip these now, and we'll see what we have here. Looks like it's giving the way it should. Well, it looks pretty good. So far, so good on this. You can see the crust is starting to appear here, and we'll let this cook for a few more, about a minute or two on the other side. And I'm looking for about a medium rare to medium temp on the internal, so we can see here. You can feel the meat a little bit. Don't be afraid to touch your meat and see, you know, how it pushes and the buoyancy of it, because, you know, as you know, I kind of use this formula in my hand, you know, like this, pushing there. That's, you know, a medium rare, then a medium well to well, you know, and you'll see the tightness of this part of your muscle in your hand, how that appears to get firmer as you go along with each finger. But anyway, so it's cooking along here. And then we'll be pulling these off pretty soon. All right. Give it a couple more seconds here, and then we'll bring these over and put them on the cutting board and let them sit and rest while we get the rest of this together. Okay guys, back again. We removed the steak. I got it off there. Now I'm going to add some onions here. We're going to just sear this up a little bit with these onions, let them brown a little bit. I took the oil that was out of here out, and there's a reason why, and I'll show you in just a few minutes. But we want to brown these onions, get them kind of golden brown, if you will, on each side. And you know, all this crustiness and this stuff here, you don't want to get rid of that. That adds to flavor later. You'll see what I'm talking about later. But that's what we're going to kind of do with that right now. So we'll let this sear. And you'll see as I'm going here, they'll start turning a little brown, you know. And so let's let them continue, go through their process, let them sear up. And when I flip them, what we'll be doing is adding a little butter. And when we add the butter, we'll put that over in here as well, put a little thyme, and then we'll see how this all works. See, so here we go. It's still starting to brown here. We'll continue to let it brown. Let it brown good. So let this continue to cook here. I'll soften them up a little bit. All right. Okay, so as you can see, the onions are starting to brown here. We'll turn this down just a little bit. We'll add a little bit of this beef tallow here. Let's push this off with my finger here. Let that go in there and kind of melt. And this is going to add just a little bit of oil back to this pot a little bit. Kind of a flavoring. It's already got some of this in here from where the meat was cooking. So we'll see that. And then we're going to add a lot of butter we're going to come in here with. Okay. Let this kind of come together here. This butter is kind of get in here and get this, take up some of that, all the crusties and stuff where it was frying was on the bottom. We'll just let that continue to cook for a minute or so. And you could add, if you wanted to, you could add some mushrooms to this. You could do anything like that you would want. I'm also going to add a little bit of thyme in here. I'll let that kind of get in there and add a little flavor and seasoning into this. So I think this is going to come out really well based on what I'm seeing. I like the way it looks so far. So see the golden brown that you're seeing here of these onions, which is exactly what you want to see. And they're starting to really loosen up in their texture. So I think that's going to be really good. I'll continue to let this kind of cook here for a minute or so. And just kind of, the stainless steel pan, one thing you can do, you can add a little, you can add if you need to, just a little bit of water, not much, and you know, that'll help get all that loose and all that stuff that was stuck to the pan when you were cooking the steak. It'll help create a little, add to this buttery sauce. As you can see here, I'm going to get all that up if I can. I don't want to miss out on any of that flavor. Okay. Okay. All right. As you can see here, I have seen some people add a little bit of flour to this to try to thicken it up a little bit. That's not really what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this juice from the steak. All right. And now we're gonna. All right, guys. So now we're gonna take these onions, as you can see here, and we'll place this across these steaks. Like this. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to drizzle all this goodness across the steaks. Guys, here we are. So as you can see, I poured this across here. Got all the juices across. Looks pretty good to me. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to try my steak here, and I'm going to pull a little piece off here onto the, move this out the way. I'm going to pull a little piece off here, and then we'll see here what I'm looking like. All right, so we're going to try this a little bit, see how this steak is. I can tell you, but just how, oh, looks pretty tender. Look at that. Medium rare to medium, looks good. That's what I'm looking for. And let's see here. Got a little bit of that fat off there. I think my mom would be proud of me for cutting a little bit of that off. And you know, you see how tender it is, and we'll see how it tastes. Really good. So, all came out as I expected. I'd highly recommend that all of you try this, and I think it's really good. It has a good flavor. You can taste all the juices from the steak, but it's well tender, has a good flavor. But I would suggest this is a thumbs up. I think it's a great. Now we tried it. It proved out to be what they said it was. So I'll give it a thumbs up. So good job.